Okay, this is Geometry Problem Set, Unit 3 Review. To be eligible to retake the Unit 3 test, this review must be completed prior to the test with a grade of at least 85. Show all work neatly in the space provided. If you don't show your work, you do not get credit. This is the work that you need to show. If angle 3 is congruent to angle y, which of the following must be true? Okay, so first we're going to mark angle 3 right here, congruent to angle y right here. Now, as you notice, those are special kind of angles right there. I'll give you a second to think about it. If you said alternate interior angles, that's correct. So that means, since they're congruent, these lines right here must be parallel. Okay? If those lines are parallel and these are congruent, our answer would be D. Line L is parallel to line segment YW. Number 2, in the figure drawn below, line segment LM and line segment QR are parallel, and the measure of angle M is equal to the measure of angle L, which is equal to 60. What is the measure of angle QNP? Okay, first we have to mark up our drawing. LM and QR are parallel. Here's LM. So I'm going to put a little arrow on there to show that that is parallel to this. I'll draw them upside down this time. Okay. And the measure of angle M, L are both 60, so 60 goes here. And 60 goes here. Now there are many ways to go from here. This is the way I'm going to go. These are parallel. That means that these are alternate interior angles. Turn your paper if you have to see that. That's 60. Again, if these are parallel, then these are going to be alternate interior angles. This is going to be congruent to this. And so that's also going to be 60. They asked us to find the measure of angle QNP right here. Remember that a linear pair is equal to 180, and we have a linear pair right here. This has to be 180. So if we take 180 and subtract the angle that we already have right here, which is 60, 180 minus 60 is 120. So the answer is 120. And we'll write that up here, 120. Let's not forget our degrees. Okay, number 3. Which additional piece of information would verify that M is parallel to N? Choose all correct answers. Okay. Let's see. A says x is equal to 72. Well, if M is equal to 72, x, which is a vertical angle, is also equal to 72. So right there. That one's correct. Y is equal to 72. Well, M is here. Y is way down here. We know that these are alternate exterior angles, and when lines are parallel, alternate exterior angles are congruent, so that is also true. This is angle Z is 108. Well, we have 72 here, angle Z is right next to it. These two angles form a linear pair. Linear pair is equal to 180. So 180 minus 72 is 108, so Z is also correct. And the last one we have, x is equal to W. X is equal to W. These are alternate interior angles. If these lines are parallel, they are equal, so the answer is correct. Number 4. A construction engineer needs to make sure a ceiling beam is parallel to its corresponding floor beam. Using the drawing as a guide, which pair of measurements is sufficient to show the beams are parallel? Okay, so up here we have the ceiling. Here we have the floor. Let's see which of these down here will prove those parallel. X is equal to Z. X is here, and Z is here. Those only tell us about the ceiling. They don't say anything about the floor, so that one doesn't work. Let's look at B. Y is equal to W. Y is over here. W is here. Those are on the same line. Doesn't tell us anything about this one, so B is not correct. C, X is equal to Y. X is equal to Y. Oh, we have those special angles again. Forming Z. This is congruent to this. Therefore, those lines are parallel. That would be our answer. Just to make sure, let's check the last one. Y is equal to Z. We have Y over here and Z over here. They don't share a transversal, so that doesn't work. So the only answer that we have is C. Number 5. George used a decorative fencing to enclose his deck using the information on the diagram and assuming the top and bottoms are parallel. What is the value of X? Okay, so these are parallel. Okay, we want to find the value of X right up here. Well, we see right here that this piece is 130. And we know that this angle plus this angle form a straight line. You're going to have to add up to 180. So if we do 180 minus 130, that gives us 50 for this angle right here. And we have transversal going through here. These would be alternate interior angles, so our answer would be 50 degrees. Number 6. Line L intersects lines W, X, Y, and Z. Which two lines are parallel? Best thing for you to do here is to fill in the measurements and then see which ones match up. I've got 125 here. I know next to 125 would be 180 minus 125, which is 55, so that goes here. Next to 80, linear pair, this is going to be 100 right here. This way, next to 65, subtract that from 180, and that gives me 115 right here. And then these two have to add up to 180, so 100 here gives me 80 right here. Which of those match up? I got 180 here, 180 here. I see a problem. Here the 100 is on top of the line, and here it's on the bottom of the line. So even though they're the same numbers, they do not match up. So do not say those are parallel. In this case, the answer is none. And it's always a possibility for your answers. Number 7. The measure of angle YZV is 40, and the measure of angle XYZ is 65. Which of these angles must measure 40 in order for line segment VR to be parallel to line segment YZ? Okay, let's see. Let's mark up the drawing. YZV. YZV is this angle right here, and that's 40. XYZ is 65. XYZ is this angle here. I'm going to put two loops on that because they're not congruent. This is 65. Which angles must measure 40 in order for VR to be parallel? So we want this line here to be parallel to this line down here. Okay, so here we have alternate interior angles. Let's see what we have. A says YVZ. YVZ is this angle right here. Those would not necessarily be congruent. So it's not A. Let's look at B. ZVR. ZVR, this angle right here. If that's 40, well, you see right here, those are alternate interior angles, so that does need to be 40. So our answer would be B. Okay, next. 8. In the figure, line T is a transversal for lines L and M. Which of the following describes the relationship between angle 1 and angle 2? Okay, so we've got a transversal, which is T, right here. And these are lines that it's crossing. We want to know what type of angles these are. Okay, first we'll notice that they are outside the two lines, so they're both exterior angles. And one is on this side of the transversal and one is on the other side of the transversal. So when they're on opposite sides of the transversal, outside the lines, they are alternate exterior angles, D. Number 9, which value for x will make line A parallel to line B? Okay, well, these angles, if we want these to be parallel, these are going to have to be congruent. So 3x minus 90 will have to equal x. So let's subtract 3x from both sides. That'll give me a negative x, but it's one less step. Negative 90 equals x minus 3x is negative 2x. Divide both sides by negative 2, and x equals 45. So the value for x is 45. Okay, let's try one more page. Number 10, what value for x will show that lines L and M are parallel? Okay, again, this is outside the two lines on this side. This is outside the two lines on the other side. Therefore, they are alternate exterior angles and must be equal. So 9x minus 10 equals 5x plus 74. First, I'm going to get rid of the extra x. 4x minus 10 equals 74. Equals, I'm going to add 10 to both sides. So 4x equals 84 divided by 4. X equals 21. That's the value for x, and that's what we had to find, so 21. Now, 11. Which additional piece of information would verify that P is parallel to R? Choose all correct answers. Okay, 1 and 6. 1 is congruent to 6. That is not one of the pairs of angles that we learned about, so that is not going to be one of our answers. Angle 3 is equal to angle 6. Angle 3 and angle 6. These angles, as you can see, are interior and they're alternate, so they have to be congruent, and then the lines will be parallel, so B works. Letter C, 4 plus 6 equals 180. These are both interior on the same side, so they're consecutive interior, which are supposed to equal 180, so that one is correct. And D, 2 plus 7 equals 180. Angle 7 here and angle 2 here. Those are alternate exterior angles. They're not supposed to equal 180. They are supposed to be congruent, so that does not work. So your answers for 11 are B and C.